yard run by Patrick Mahomes. But the true danger of this Chiefs offense is what they do through the air. As you see here, their big play potential outrivals any other team in the league. More touchdowns than anyone else on passes of 20-plus air yards, 30-plus air yards, and they're tied for most on 40-plus air yards.
You know what that means?
Flip the field, what?
Like Luda said, get back, get back. You don't know me like that.
We thought we'd show you some examples of what they can do, their top 5 air yard passes of the season, starting at number 5. This was from week 2 against the Raiders.
Ooh, heck of a catch right there.
DeMarcus Robinson, a 39-yard touchdown pass there.
Oh,
how about a little shimmy?
Okay, he's feeling it.
When you air it out like that, you can afford to be as swaggy as you want. Week 17 versus the Chargers was a 47-yarder.
Yep, that's what they like to do, put Tyreek Hill inside. Speed.
You got a number 49 covering Tyreek Hill. That ain't good.
Number 3, this was from this past weekend. A 60-yard touchdown pass to Sammy Watkins, traveled 40 yards in the air.
He just flicked that wrist.
Did a great job buying some time with his legs right there. And that's right, Chiefs Kingdom. Showering them with some love, as they should.
And number 2, we're going to go back to that Oakland game. Sorry, Raiders fans. It was a 42-yard touchdown pass to Mecole Hardman. Traveled 40.4 yards in the air.
Oh, that's it?
That's all.
Oh, that's all.
Light work. Look at that.
Oh, there it is,
shot.
Shooting the J.
Like
like MJ, you know, the rim just looks so big to him.
Just throw it up and it goes in.
And number 1, the number 1 air yard pass of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Texans.
I love this play. Go get it. When a little fella can go up there and go get it like that, explosive right there.
44 air yards.
It didn't even look like he tried to throw it that far.
All the dude on the field goes up and gets it.
They got a lot of speed, and Mahomes can sling it. But the thing is, the Niners are pretty good at not getting burned by plays like that. According to Next Gen Stats, powered by AWS, they've only allowed 2 completions of 30-plus air yards all year. And we just saw the second one on Sunday, that Davante Adams catch on Richard Sherman, the only pass of 40-plus air yards that the Niners have allowed all season long. So talk about a strength-on-strength matchup. Which one gives in the Super Bowl, D'Angelo?
You know what? I'm going to have to say that this 49ers defense with that pass rush, I don't see Kansas City being able to exploit the secondary just because this pass rush, when you think about being able to just drop 7 guys in coverage and get home, look, Patrick Mahomes can absolutely evade the rush of 1 free guy. Maybe even 2, but this 49ers D, they come in waves where it's 2, 3 guys coming, and so I don't know how Patrick Mahomes can find his way out of that trouble, but if he can, if Andy Reid somehow is able to leave Kelsey in and chip on this guy and, move some guys around and use some boots and some screens and things like that to kind of just change the launch angle of Patrick Mahomes, he can exploit this secondary. And I think the way he exploits this secondary is by simply not avoiding Richard Sherman. And I know I sound crazy. He's an all-pro. Sherm, don't tweet me and go crazy now.
Get him.
But
use the whole field.
This is all I'm saying. Exactly. Use the whole field. Aaron Rodgers did not go at Richard Sherman but twice. One time, had a big play. The second time, it was an interception. And so this 49ers defense plays a little bit more prevent style of defense. So you can get some plays in on him. And Tyreek Hill is one of the best route runners. You're thinking about the way he gets in and out of his breaks. If Davante Adams can run by you and turn you around, Tyreek Hill and the quickness he possesses and Mecole Hardman and all these other guys, they absolutely have speed to burn.
This is going to be such a great matchup. Lindsay, you showed those top 5 throws. Listen, the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes faced more man defense than any quarterback in the league. And the 49ers play more zone. Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting matchup because the zone defense of the 49ers, they're built to not give up that big play. And they could do that because they get home. And they don't allow you to buy time to get those receivers down the field. So I think for this Kansas City Chiefs offense, it's going to be, can they find a way to attack the middle of the field? When you look at Patrick Mahomes, his biggest throws, his most successful production has been in the middle of the field. It hasn't been on the outside. Look at this diagram right here. Look at all these throws. Look at the throws to the left, all right? 10 for 25, 14 for 37. That's like below league average or right at league average. The middle of the field is where he has excelled. That's when his most production has been. So this whole, we're going to attack Richard Sherman and the zone defense they play, Sherman is mostly on the outside. So I don't even expect them to really throw at him very often just because of where their production is mainly based.
It's an interesting interesting point.
It is. And like Sean pointed out, they love to put that speed on the inside. And by putting speed on the inside, it lets you know, hey, they're in man or zone. Because if I have Tyreek Hill right here at the number 3 position, and I see a linebacker out there who we saw in that highlight 49, that's a matchup I'm going to go at right there. Absolutely. So Sean's 100% right about that.
You bring in the analytics with you today. What's
I was told
up,
there'd be no math.
Mahomes selected to his second Pro Bowl this year, unable to go. Coming up on NFL Total Access tomorrow, we're going to chase down Pro Bowl quarterbacks in Orlando that did go. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, and Drew Brees. They're in our sights Wednesday, 6 Eastern. But first, next on NFL Total Access today, why who wins Super Bowl 54 kind of depends on which tight end has the better game. We'll explain after this.
Hi there. Oh, hey, how you doing, Abe? Whoa, come on, whoa! Oh, I love football.
Throws it late, and is it caught in the, it's caught, touchdown!
There was nothing telling you I was going to do that. And the ball was in the air before I did it. That's what I wanted you to do, and I was like, it's National Tight End Day. It's a National Tight End Day.
So many great storylines in this game, including the fact that it will feature 2 of the best tight ends in the game today, possibly of all time. As you see here, Travis Kelce and George Kittle rank 2nd and 3rd in receiving yards per game by a tight end, trailing only, historically, Rob Gronkowski and ahead of Kellen Winslow and Tony Gonzalez. They are both fantasy superstars. I know you know that. But the way they get their yards and touchdowns and even the way they approach the game, it's a little bit different. What do you think about Kelce's game? What do you like about it? What should we be looking for in the Super Bowl, Sean?
Yeah, sure. What's not to love when it comes to Travis Kelce? I'm a movie guy, as everybody knows. There's a movie called The Perfect Weapon by Jeff Speakman. It's a great martial arts movie if you love it, but it's the art of Kenpo. That is Travis Kelce. He is the perfect weapon because just like the crane kick that Miyagi taught Danielson, if done properly, no one can defend. Let's take a look at Travis Kelce, all right? You want to play man against him, D?
Yeah.
Do you? Do you want to play man? All right, a lot of people have tried. Let's take a look at the Texans. Here they are playing man. We're going to double Tyreek Hill right here. All right, we're not going to let you beat us deep, which means we've got Lonnie Johnson one-on-one against Travis Kelce. Look at this separation right here, Lindsey. I mean, he's not even within 8 yards when he catches this football. So, okay, fine. The perfect weapon. We can't play man against him. Well, you know what we'll do? We're going to play man. We're going to double him, Lindsey. We're going to put 2 guys on Travis Kelce. Well, guess what? Right? Just like Jeff Speakman, he's smart too. All right, he sees the double team, says, I'm not going to keep running the crossing route right in front of him so he can jump the route. I'm going to straighten up, and then I'm going to run behind him. He outruns the double coverage. All right, D?
Okay, so that didn't work.
Look at that. Just like Woody and White Man Can't Jump. I'm just going to leave it up there. It's so pretty.
Hold it up.
All right, fine. So we can't handle man. We're going zone coverage, cover 3 right here. We're not going to let him beat us deep. Look at Travis right here in the middle of the field with the Mickey Mouse gloves. The big old white hands are up in the middle as he sits down, tells his quarterback, here I am. Man, zone, it doesn't matter. Travis Kelce, he's going to beat you.
He's good. So is Kittle, though.
He is really good. Kelce is really good, Sean, but what you aren't showing me is the physicality. Come on, man. When you think about Kittle and what he brings
he's
to
more
the
wide receiver than tight end. I'll give you that.
Come on, man. Think about Kittle, man. Look, first I'm going to go back to Kelce. I don't know if Kelce will be able to even get out on a lot of pass routes. When you think about this 49ers pass rush, where is normally the first guy they say, hey, man, you're not going to run a route today. You're going to help us block.
Yeah.
Who is it going to be? It's going to be the tight end.
Keep the tight end and double chip.
Kelce, as big a weapon as he is, I think he's going to be asked to help block this disruptive pass rush from the 49ers. But on the other side of things, Kittle, man, you know, when you think about him being able to run routes, he can run routes with the best of them. But what I really love, Kyle Shanahan made the statement, Kittle has never come to me and said, hey, coach, I want that play because I want the football. He said he's come to me and said, hey, coach, call this run play because I want to go against that guy right there.
Look at that.
And just watch him put it.
I
loves putting his hands on people.
I watched him go as Zadarius Smith, and you could see it was a personal battle. He wanted to let Zadarius know, hey, look, I'm here all day for you. And that's the kind of physicality that the 49ers love to have at the point of attack, whether it's in the run game, whether it's in the pass game. You know, run after catch. To me, Kittle is the more explosive guy, and so the more complete player in my opinion. You know, Kelce's more of that pretty boy receiver. You know?
Oh, pretty boy. receiver. I don't know. Although Andrew Hawkins' arrival video yesterday did depict him as such, right?
He had a lot of swag.
They both have a lot of swag and so much personality. We could talk about them in the many layers for days. They also have 7 Pro Bowl nods between them. Neither of them obviously can go this year, so they were replaced by Jack Doyle and Austin Hooper. And they're not the only ones who got late nods. Some of the other players added to the roster this week, Devontae Adams and Zadarius Smith.
All right,
Green Bay.
no more snub.
DJ Chark from Jacksonville is going. Kirk Cousins from Minnesota. He's taking Aaron Rodgers' spot, the Packers quarterback, having dropped out at the last minute. 2 other people that you will see at the game, Pete Carroll and John Harbaugh, who are the coaches for the 2020 Pro Bowl presented by Verizon, which you can catch on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and ABC. The traditional AFC-NFC format, though it's going to be a little bit different this year. The NFL is toying with a couple of rule changes. One that will result in no kickoffs. Okay, stay with me here. I'm going to try and explain it. Instead, the team that scores will have 2 choices. They can either give the other team the ball at their 25, like a touchback, exactly, or they can keep the ball themselves and try to keep going, but it's super risky. They would get 1 play from their own 25. It's a 4th and 15.
Right.
If they convert, fresh set of downs, they're moving. If they don't, the other team takes over right there. They're almost in the red zone.
That rule reeks of desperation right there. But the Alliance Football League actually started that, and that's kind of where they pilfered that from.
What do you think? Do you think anyone would? I could see a team if they're like just super confident in their offense, like we've got the momentum, let's just go.
4th and 15.
You got Mahomes.
Yeah, if you got Mahomes, maybe. In the Pro Bowl, this would be fun. In a regular season game, I don't know if anybody would do that.
Instead of an onside kick, too.
Right.
Yeah,
right? Like maybe it takes
that's where maybe analytics comes in. Because now you say, what's the probability of getting an onside kick recovery versus converting a 4th and 15? I think a lot of it has to do with how's the game playing out right now. Are we doing a good job protecting? And because 4th and 15, listen, you've got to have enough time for your receivers to get that first down. So if you're playing a team like the 49ers who are getting after your quarterback, probably not going to do that. But if you've done a good job protecting, 4th and 15 sounds good. And if the game's almost over, and it doesn't matter if you turn the ball over on downs, you take the shot.
Testing it out at the Pro Bowl. We'll see how it goes, and we'll hear what the coaches think about it right now. Omar Ruiz and Jane Slater with them today down in Orlando.
I know this is your first time being a head coach at the Pro Bowl. The first thing that I thought of was, how does the always compete mentality fit in here at the Pro Bowl?
Well, hey, we're playing to win. These guys are here to battle. They're going to battle in the skills competition. I hope we can win that, have some of our guys be on top, and then take it on to the game and have a good time. Really, it's about having fun and enjoying and celebrating. So we're going to make sure that we take care of business in that degree.
And when you have the rule changes that are being proposed here for this game, the 4th and 15 attempt, the lack of false start by the receivers, what do you make about those experimental rules?
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's fun to try to find a more competitive way to give the team that's behind, I think, a chance to go for it. Onside kicks aren't working out real well. It's pretty low rate. This situation is going to be interesting. We're going to see how it goes. I know if we get a chance, we're going to use it. But as far as the penalties and stuff like that, we'll see how that goes. League needs to continue to grow and challenge and expand our thoughts and what is possible. This is one way to do it.
How excited are you and the staff to coach this one?
We're really excited. I mean, it's just a great event. It's great for the NFL to come out here today at Jones High School and see all the things that the NFL is doing for the community here, to meet the players, the coaches, the choir, the band, the community members. It's just a really fun event. It's a joy. It's great to be around the players. I mean, it's fun to see those guys in a different setting. We're not lining up against them. It's not quite as combative as it might be in a game. You kind of get to know their families, so it's really a great deal.
Pro Bowl, a fun time for the fans to interact with their favorite players. And it sounds like a certain Saints fan will be looking for Lamar Jackson. Drew Brees posting on Instagram that his son Balin is a big fan of his. Pumped to meet him this week. And we'll have coverage of all of that from Orlando all week long. We'll also be in Mobile for the Reese's Senior Bowl practice kicking off there today. And we've got a full hour of coverage coming up at 8 p.m. Eastern on that. But for the highlights of what happened on the field, here is Andrew Siciliano.
I think it was a pretty good day. Day one here at the Reese's Senior Bowl. The North coached by the Lions, the South coached by the Bengals. What'd you see, Daniel Jeremiah?
Well, it's fun. It's fun to watch the quarterbacks out there spin the ball around. You know, when you look at Justin Herbert, who I thought had a pretty clean day today. Jordan Love from Utah State, a little bit up and down performance from him. Jalen Hurts, we saw him move around and make some plays today. So I always enjoy watching the quarterbacks day one, and we know they're just going to get better as the week goes along.
Yeah, and I reflect on something you said in our broadcast and during the time before we began. What are we going to do with separating these receivers? One from USC and Michael Pittman, one from Notre Dame and Chase Claypool. And I don't think that anything got settled today because both of them made play after play after play. And they're both aggressive on special teams. So it's going to be fun to watch that. Plus, the offensive and defensive linemen got after each other in this thing. I want to see how that progresses the rest of the way.
It is such a deep field of wide receivers, many of them on this field here in Mobile throughout the week leading up to the game. A lot of quarterback questions to be answered as well this week. We will talk to Oregon's Justin Herbert coming up on our Reese's Senior Bowl recap show. That is at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. See you then.
And the Senior Bowl game will be coming your way Saturday exclusively on NFL Network. We'll get you ready for the game with a live total access at 2 p.m. Eastern. And as for the guys who were at that game last year, remember there's still time to vote for your favorite rookie for Pepsi Rookie of the Year. Go to NFL.com and cast your vote, and the winner will be announced next week in Miami. Kyler Murray, Miles Sanders, Josh Jacobs, A.J. Brown, and Nick Bosa are your options there. It is the cruelty of the NFL that the losers of Championship Sunday are typically forgotten amongst the hoopla of Super Bowl hysteria. And it's understandable, but it's also a little bit unfair. So after the break, what happens now for the Packers and Titans? For the last time, in the case of some of them, there are quite a few notable free agents this offseason on this team, as you see here. Ryan Tannehill, Marcus Mariota, Derrick Henry, Jack Conklin on the line, Logan Ryan on the back end of their defense. Every team has to kind of remake themselves every offseason. That's quite a remake if they lose all of those players. I assume that they won't, that some of those players will be prioritized to come back. Will they be back next year? Is this a team that you think, okay, they're building, or was this like a one-year run shot that they had?
I feel like they're building, but I think for them to be back, Derrick Henry has to be back. And I think he was the heart and soul of that team, not just the offense. I felt like the defense fed off of him as well. So priority number one, we've got to figure out Derrick Henry. He has to be back. Now, in what capacity? That's the big question. Obviously, the projected franchise tag number for running backs next year is $12.5 million. That's pretty cheap if you ask me. So is the tag in play for him? If not, I mean, the long-term deal, obviously the quarterback situation is going to play a factor, but I think Derrick Henry has to be a big part of their offseason. That's got to be priority number one, get him locked up for the long term, because that offense is built to go through him. And when you look at that division, you know, with Indy and with Houston and with Jacksonville, what they're trying to do, you've got to have that run game.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right, Sean. When you think about the dynamic of this football team, normally you would say, give me the quarterback and we'll figure out the running back situation later. But this team is truly a different type of football team. Derrick Henry is the heartbeat and the soul of that football team. He is the offense, as we saw through the course of the playoffs. Anytime you give a guy the football that many times, to me, it was a mystery that he never got a deal done prior to this point, because the back half of his season last year kind of let you know, hey, this is the way we're going to be winning football games. Absolutely, it was coming. And so, you know, you asked the question, Lindsay, will this team be back? Not if Derrick Henry's not on this football team. I just don't know if there's another running back in this league who's built to carry that type of a load. That's why so many teams have a two-headed monster, or, you know, they tend to give their running back the ball in space as a receiver, a la Christian McCaffrey, where he's not necessarily running up the middle where he's getting hit by 3 or 4 different guys. And so, but to me, Tennessee was a overachiever. I think we all thought they had a chance to go in New England and get a win. I don't think anybody thought they were going to go into Baltimore and get that win. And so for me, will this team be back? I don't know. You know, I do not know. I don't know if you can keep winning football games this way. They were able to do it through the course of this playoff run. But, man, you know, to sit back there and run the ball that many times and have a defense just teeing off on you. You saw Kansas City, who has not been good for the better part of the season. They kind of made a little run toward the end. But for Kansas City to come out and really stop that rushing attack, let you know, it is a mindset tackling. And for guys who want to tackle, and knowing what was on the line, I knew that Kansas City Chiefs defense would come to tackling. So I think you have to be able to throw the football, especially with the receivers that Tennessee has,
and that
A.J.
brings
Brown
us
and Corey Davis.
To Tannehill.
Yeah.
And the other big question mark that they have, what should they do there?
I think bring back Tannehill.
You do?
On the tag or a long-term deal?
Well,
or?
I think you can pay Tannehill, and you know what? Look at the Kirk Cousins model, the 3-year deal, and you pay him, and the injury factor is not going to be as risky with Tannehill as it would be a long-term deal with Derrick Henry. So, yeah, if you pay Tannehill, you could franchise tag Derrick Henry and then see how it plays out after next year. There is enough money, I believe, to get them both. And to be honest with you, I think Ryan Tannehill would say, I like this team, I like this city, I like what we did. And look, he took over in week 7. So you give him a full season, he could be a starter in the Pro Bowl, not a replacement.
What about the Packers, the other team that lost this past weekend and cleaned out their lockers yesterday in Green Bay? Didn't hear from any of the players. As you see here, this locker room is empty. But this is a team that we talked about all season long. They were maybe more successful than we thought they were talented.
Yeah.
How do they get more talented this offseason? How do they change that? What do they need to add?
Well, I think another year of just being in Matt LaFleur's offense, being in this scheme, for Aaron Rodgers will make him a little bit more confident and make this whole offense just click and gel that much better. Defense, too. I think a lot of people don't realize that continuity means something in the National Football League when you talk about being able to know and understand a playbook inside and out. But, one thing to me that's kind of glaring is the need to have another guy opposite Devontae Adams. We know Devontae Adams is a dominant receiver in this league. He needs some help. He absolutely needs some help opposite him. This Green Bay team needs more speed. If you look at how Sean McVay put his influence in Los Angeles with the Rams, if you see what Kyle's done, with the 49ers, you got to have a guy that takes the top off so they can run some of those race balls when the run game's going and you can use that play action. Devontae Adams is an incredible #1 receiver, but he needs another guy a la like a Will Fuller, just a guy that can take the top off.
Well, it sounds like it's a good year for wide receivers in the draft, so this might be the right time for them to go get somebody. What do you think? Wide receiver, or where would you go?
Defense.
Defense.
I think first and foremost, the Green Bay Packers have to figure out what are we doing with Blake Martinez. He was a tackling machine this year. He was all over the field. They need to sign him, lock down the middle of that defense. And then also, I think in the secondary, look, they've got a lot of young corners, some really good corners. Kevin King played really well, but I thought the liability for them in the postseason was their safety position. Darnell Savage had a really rough game against the 49ers. The fact that they didn't have an enforcer in that secondary come down and help shut down that run game, that is what exposed them in the playoffs. They needed some help on that end.
All right, that's next year for the Packers and the Titans, and we will get a chance to address that a lot in the months to come. After the break on NFL Total Access, what happens in Vegas is definitely not staying in Vegas, because we are telling everyone about the new stadium and the only in Vegas plan for Draft Day. That is coming up right after this. First, though, a few words from Good Morning Football.
This is Good Morning Football. Two uniformed gentlemen. Angry Runs here meets Patrick Mahomes. You wearing that thing until we get to Miami?
Might not take it off. It's fine. What do we got on the show tomorrow, Pat?
I love that. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl, of course, down in Miami. Also, the long show, the longest plays from championship weekend. It'll be a lot of fun.
I'm wearing the Mahomes jersey because he might be the most exciting player in the NFL. And on tomorrow's show, we are going to show his best plays, not only of the season, of his career. Buckle up, Chiefs fans.
Trace,
this one's for you.
You created that segment for him.
It
really is.
It's literally his incessant.
It really is. That's the guy. You said the most exciting player in the NFL. We're also having the most exciting player of all time, Barry Sanders, on the show.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
No, but he's on the show tomorrow? I had no idea. No Nate Burleson tomorrow, but a friend of his who also pretends to be vegan, MJD.
I love
7 a.m.
those.
Eastern right here on Good Morning Football.
So this is going to be fun. The 85th annual NFL Draft in Vegas, baby. And just like every everything else in Vegas, it's going to be super flashy with a main stage that we're going to show you here.
A lot of lights.
Right next to the brand new Caesars Forum. There's also going to be an NFL Draft Experience, which will be next to the main stage. That'll be free with lots of activities for people who want to bring their families and things like that. There's also going to be a red carpet, guys, set up literally on the water.
Wow.
That is the Bellagio water.
So they're going to walk on water.
Yup. Players will be ferried to this red carpet by boat.
That's gangster.
Boats and bros. Boats and bros. Here we go.
What?
I love it.
It's going to be fun. I want in on this. April 23rd, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's on ESPN and also NFL Network. And
should be on HBO.
This is all to celebrate the Raiders moving to Las Vegas. Their stadium underway, and head coach John Gruden got a chance to get a first-hand look at it recently, and we got to go along.
I've been waiting for this. You guys ready?
You got to see this to believe it, man.
What do you think?
I can't get over it. I just love the black, shiny.
So typically, let's say we've got a 1 o'clock Sunday game. Field tray comes in Friday night, acclimates to the conditions. We play our games on Sunday. First thing Monday morning, grass goes back out. Get it ready for the next week.
Look at this place, man. You can have a vision for this stuff, but when you make it a reality, man, it's hard to believe. People aren't going to believe this. Yeah, this is jaw-dropping. I mean, I was a coach's kid at Notre Dame, got to coach for the Green Bay Packers, and as a broadcaster, got to see a lot of different stadiums. I have never seen a place like this. This place is off the hook, and it's credit to Mark Davis and to all these thousands of workers and the time they put in. But man, what's going on? Good, man. Nice to meet you. You play linebacker?
No, I was a tight end.
Oh, you look like a tight end.
Your post-game press conference room. It'll have a little mini stage in here. It's going to be pretty cool. So.
We got to get back to work. We got to win, man. We got to get back to work now.
That's going to be fun. So we'll have 2 new stadiums next year. The one in Vegas opening up, the one in Inglewood here, the Rams and the Chargers. Should be fun because all of these stadiums are always like the latest and greatest. So what's the newest thing going to be that nobody else has?
It's going to be awesome. The Wi-Fi in those stadiums is going to be off the hook.
You see John talking about, hey, man, you play linebacker? He's always recruiting, man. John's always recruiting.
I love him in the hard hat. That costume was pretty cool, man.
I know. He looked like he's ready for a home improvement show.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get his hands dirty.
Don't give him any ideas. He makes enough money doing his job, his day job. He doesn't need to take on any other activities. You know who is taking on another gig? That is J.J. Watt, who is going to be hosting Saturday Night Live the night before the Super Bowl. Tweeted, I can't even pretend to hide my excitement about this. This is something truly special. I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity from Lauren and everyone involved at NBC SNL New York City. Let's have some fun.
Okay.
He's going to be the latest in a long line of NFL hosts on
He better wear a
SNL.
dress.
Do you think he'll be good?
At some point.
I don't know.
Is
I
he
haven't
funny?
seen. He's so fiery. You know, I don't know if we got the comedic side of J.J. Watt.
I think he's going to have some good stuff.
Yeah, I think he'll give him some good material.
There will probably be some sort of brother skit involved too with the family, with Derek and TJ. They'll get that in.
Yeah,
something with the bloody nose, which he seemingly always has. What was that dance that you were doing while we were watching it?
Oh, yeah, he's going to live in a van down by the river.
Okay,
just I'm going to shower regularly.
We're just workshopping for you here, JJ. I don't know that you need to take us